Our virtual and live studio audiences. It has been a full year without a studio audience, and I am loving this energy. Thank you guys so much for being back here. I can't tell you how good it is to see you all in person, fully vaxxed, fully masked, with special Robin Design Dr. Phil mask. How about that? And listen, I want to take a minute to say how much I appreciate you putting your trust in me for these past 20 years. It means so much to me and to my staff. It really does. We work really hard to bring you stories that matter, stories you can learn from, and hopefully help you bring about change and enrichment in your own life and those for the people that you love. So that's why we do the stories that we do. So let's get down to business. Today, Fran says she's completely down on her luck. Her living room is mostly empty. The furniture sold. Her pickup truck no longer sits in the driveway. $8,000 in settlement money from a car accident has disappeared, and both of her $3,000 stimulus checks gone. Terrible, right? Well, if you're thinking that Fran was the victim of a robbery, well, you would be right. But what might surprise you is that Fran handed over all of these things and more, and she did it willingly. All Fran has left is $100 to her name. But she says that's okay, because it's all for love. Those closest to Fran say she's living in complete denial of reality. Take a look.
You can't be in love with somebody you just met, especially on Instagram. You can't love somebody that you've never laid eyes on.
He told my sister that he had a big settlement coming, several $100,000, and when he got it, he was going to get married, move up to Virginia, live happy ever after.
He has no intentions of marrying her.
That's all we hear about. Craig this, Craig that. He's wanting to meet you, Herman. I said, sister, he don't want to meet me, because when he does, he gets the big Herm upside the head, and that's the end of it. She was telling us she was sending him a little bit of money. She didn't say how much.
This lady calls her and says she's Craig's attorney in Florida, that she needs to send her some money up front to do Craig's inheritance. And so Frances sent her the money. I said, Frances, you're crazy. And then she finds out that she's not a lawyer. I have told her he's just after the money. Once the money stops, he'll be gone.
She maxed her credit cards out. She gave all her stimulus money to this guy.
It was probably at least $10,000 plus.
My sister's just so gullible.
Craig is a scammer. He may not even be Craig.
My biggest fear is that my sister's going to get her heart jerked out.
She doesn't want to be alone. She needs companionship. And I want that for her, but Craig is definitely not the one.
Fran loves Dr. Phil, thinks the sun sets and rises on him, and that he's going to have her answers and help her. And if he does, God bless him.
You believe Fran's getting conned?
Yes, definitely.
You believe this is a catfish, somebody's scamming her?
Yes.
Now I understand even sold furniture out of her home.
Yeah.
I was appalled.
The living room is empty.
Yes.
Truck's gone. She's afoot. She has no furniture. She's borrowed money. She's shipping everything off to them. Why would she fall for this and you not?
My sister is very lonely. And this person came into her life in a time when she lost her daughter.
And how did she lose her daughter?
Her daughter passed away. She found her dead in her apartment.
A young age, right?
At a very young age, yes.
Okay.
This has only been 2 years ago.
You've talked to her about this.
Yes.
Herman, you've talked to her about it.
Yes, sir.
And what have you said to her?
I've told her it's not real. I said, Fran, you're being scammed, honey. I said, have you ever met him? She went 2 trips to Texas and ain't met him yet. So
16 hours she drove to Texas to meet him.
Yes.
So what happened when she knocked on the door? Well, Craig did answer the door, but, well, take a look.
I had been talking with Craig on the phone for a while. I decided I wanted to meet Craig. I texted him. I was jumping in my truck and I was going to drive for 16 hours on my way to Texas. I wasn't afraid to travel. I love to travel.
Here's my sister Fran that I love with all my heart. going to Texas to meet some guy that she had never met except on the internet.
I really was looking forward to meeting Craig. Very nervous, very giddy, and very excited.
Who does that? By yourself to go meet a total stranger that you have no clue who it is. I told her, I said, Frances, you're crazy.
I ended up meeting a Craig, but it wasn't the Craig that I was talking to. When I knocked on his door, he said, "Hi, can I help you?" And I said, "Well, I'm Fran. I'm the one you've been talking to for the last couple months." And he said, "No, you haven't been talking to me." I called Craig while we were all standing out there, and he told me he was going to his family's home in Dallas and that he would talk to me later. He wasn't very happy that I was talking to the other Craig. My cousin decided she wanted to take me out dancing. She called a cowboy over and had me take a picture with the cowboy, and then she had me send Craig the picture, and Craig was very, very jealous. He said he was very hurt. I was on my way home is when he started confessing everything, that he was a black man and that he was afraid I wouldn't have anything to do with him because he was a black man. I didn't get any pictures of him till after I got home. I noticed he was younger than what he had told me he was, and he said age did not matter. I told Craig I based all my feelings on honesty and trust, and whether he was black or not didn't matter to me, that Craig's heart is what mattered to me.
Okay, so she drives down there, knocks on the door. It's not him. This is in Manor, Texas, which is a couple hundred miles from Dallas, where he says, "No, I'm not here. I'm up in Addison," which is a suburb of Dallas. And he kind of short with her, cuts her off. Okay, then she's driving home, and he says, "Okay, I've been telling you that I'm a Caucasian male, but I'm really black. And I've just lied to you because I didn't think you would accept me."
Right.
Because he's got to cover up why he wouldn't see her at that point. Okay? This is what we call a modified mea culpa. I'm gonna confess something to you that is benign and off point because it'll buy me credibility about the big lie I'm telling you, which is that I don't exist. This is a professional here. I see this right away. And so now she says, I feel sorry that you would fear that. So he actually turns this into sympathy. She feels empty, she feels alone. And so here's somebody that starts telling her, "You're wonderful. I love you. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. Oh, by the way, I'm going to be rich."
Mm-hmm.
But my sister thinks she has to have a man to complete her. But there's no talking to my sister, is there? None.
What makes you think she'll listen to me?
She admires you.
She's always watched. She thinks the world of him. Well, he's just helped so many people out and good to them. And she wanted to come here and see if she could get some help. Just to be honest with you, I think my sisters are grabbing for help.
All right, well, we're going to find out because next, Faye and Herman worry that Fran has shared every personal detail about her life with this Craig, not just her money, but her information, including her social security number. So what does Fran know about Craig? And why does he refuse to share anything, even his home address? We've done so many of these things over the years. This is the first one ever that wouldn't even give an address. So he's being really cagey. We're going to talk to Fran next.
My boyfriend, Craig, is very handsome, very sweet. It took me about 2 to 3 months and I was completely in love with him. And that's Craig. I've been giving him money to get his inheritance. He just asked me last night for $2,500 more. I'm hoping Dr. Phil does bring us together. That would make my heart burst wide open.
And later, this is your Craig, right? We were able to find the man in the Craig photos. Are you there?
Yeah, hi, Dr. Phil.
Well, Fran says her family and friends are adamant that Craig is not real, but she claims they are the delusional ones. She says she's sure Craig is real because he's receiving her money. That makes him real. Take a look.
My boyfriend Craig is very caring, very handsome, very sweet. His voice is deep and sexy. It took me about 2 to 3 months and I was completely in love with him. So I FaceTime with him one time and that's the only time I've ever seen him. We communicate 4 times a day and that's Craig. I told you he texts me all the time. He said, "Hope you're having a great day." I said, "Yes, dear, hope you are also." Craig has told me he's a football coach. His father is deceased, and he said he's getting an inheritance from his father. I've been giving him money to help him get his inheritance. He just asked me last night for $2,500 more. So I have sent money to a lady named Jennifer, who is apparently a neighbor of Craig's. I asked the teller, "Is this deposit going to a bank in Addison, Texas?"
Because Craig said he lived in Addison.
And she said, "No, honey, the address is actually in your hometown." I'm still shocked by it.
I'm angry at him for taking advantage of my sister, and my heart goes out to her because she wants to believe everything he says.
He did ask me for $400 just the other day. I told him I didn't even have $20.
My sister has sent this cat $30,000. She's hocked her car, hocked her home, she's hocked her living room furniture. She ain't got nothing left.
My family doesn't like him, and my brother absolutely thinks he's not real. I tell them that he's very real and that he loves me. I have all the pictures of him. Last night he sent me a picture where he just had got home. This is the picture that I got from him. And that they look like the pictures of when I FaceTime him. I'm hoping Dr. Phil does bring us together and that we do have our happy ever after. If he isn't lying to me, that would make my heart burst wide open.
Well, Fran, good to meet you.
Good to meet you, Dr. Phil.
You've been watching me for how long?
Lots of years. I love your show. I really enjoy watching you.
You think I'm pretty straight with folks?
I think you're very straight with folks.
Yeah. If he's real, then that's great. Maybe. I mean, we don't know much about him, but if he's real, that's great. We got something to work with, right?
That's right.
If he's not, we don't know, but if he's not, would you want to know that?
I definitely would want to know that.
Why?
Because I've been with him for a little over a year now, and I have totally fell in love with him. And if he's not real, then I want to know that I'm not in love with a real person.
Okay, and I want to talk about the words you just used because this is evidence of how you're into this. You said if he's not real, and I've been in love with him for a year. Well, if he's not real, then you haven't been in love with him for a year. So you're contradicting yourself even in your rhetoric. If he's not real, then who have you been in love with? How would you explain that?
I have felt like I'm in love with his soul. I feel like he's my soulmate. That's how I feel right now.
Okay. It feels good to be in love, right?
I think it's an idea of being in love with someone who would love me back. I want to be in love with someone who loves me the way I feel like he loves me.
Okay, now that's really helpful that you can see and understand that you want very much to be in love with somebody that loves you back.
Yes.
You've been interacting with this person for how long? 2 years?
About a year and a half, pretty close to it.
Okay, a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is it commonsensical that you would be in a relationship with somebody for a year and a half in the United States and never have met them in person?
Not really.
You could walk in a year and a half and be there.
That's true. He's been waiting on his inheritance, and
waiting is not somewhere that's specific to a location. You can wait anywhere.
I agree with you, and I've told him that.
Fran says that Craig told her that all the money that she sends to him needs to be untraceable. So why would that be?
I sold my truck to my son Eddie so that I could get extra money to give to Craig. I sold my living room furniture. I sell these masks online. I sell my cookies. He likes when I sell my cakes, and he always brags on them. I have sent Craig over $30,000. I have 3 credit cards. They're all maxed out. The ones that say 100 or 50 on them are only worth that much, but the ones that'll say 10 to 200, they're all worth 200 each. Craig actually takes these cards to a store close to his house, and he actually gets cash out of them. These other papers, they're worth anywhere from $500 to $1,000 each.
Forever she wouldn't tell me nothing because she knows I'm the protector of the family. And then she said, well, I'm sending him a little bit of money, but not much. I said, Fran, how much money you send this cat? Oh, not much, I promise.
Fran says she truly believes that Craig will pay her back every penny and more. Take a look.
We had been talking for probably a little over a month or so when Craig told me about him trying to buy a car for his daughter. He told me she was a hard worker, and I had lost my daughter, so that really touched my heart, and I was willing to help him out. I sold my truck to my son Eddie so that I could get extra money to give to Craig. I sold the truck for $12,000. I love that truck a lot. He needed money again, and I sold my living room furniture. I do miss my furniture, especially when I have company and there's really no place for anybody to sit right now. But I know it's replaceable. He always asks me what all I can sell, and so he likes when I sell my cakes. He thinks they're beautiful cakes, and he always brags on them. I charge $15 to $20 depending on what kind of cake I make. I sell my cookies by the packages, anywhere from $1 to $2 a package, and I enjoy doing it. I sell these masks online on Facebook. For each mask, I get $5, and I make pretty good selling masks. He gets most of my income that I make off of them. Sometimes I would borrow money through a loan company. There's all different ways that I send Craig money. I have always loved Craig and always been willing to send him anything I had as long as I had it to send to him. I don't have but $100 and some in my checking account right now. Craig does promise to pay me back. Craig's dad passed away and he's got an inheritance coming.
Okay. Now, you have tried to meet him.
Yes, I have.
Has he tried to meet you? Did he drive to see you?
I sent him money for 3 different trips to come to Virginia. He never showed up. I stood and waited on him one time in the doorway at a time he was supposed to be there, and
didn't show up.
He did not show up.
That was once.
Yeah,
Did you send him money a second time?
and he didn't show up,
You sent him money a third time.
and he didn't show up.
Here's what you say is off about Craig. You said Craig might not be his real name, but I don't care.
I did say that.
Yeah. He says he's asked you to sell things to send him money. And when you didn't, he broke it off with you for not sending money.
Yeah, we broke up.
Craig, you are sending the money to that address that has nothing to do with trust here. You never listen, and I'm tired of it. So you choose. Either you sending the money so that I can continue with this or give this a break.
Yeah, that's what he says.
Just threatening you. Then 324, you always got a problem sending money. Maybe you never wish to. But where's she from?
Addison, Texas.
That ain't Texan. That's somebody that has English as a second language, is what that is. He gave you the wrong address and refuses to give you his real address and says, send money that's not traceable.
If I send money through the bank, it always had to go to someone else.
He says he had a daughter and he needed $500 to buy, because you're going to get her a car.
Right.
And he knew you had lost your daughter, right?
Yes, he did.
Very sorry for your loss, by the way.
Thank you.
Really hate that for you.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
But he knew that, so he says, I need $500 to buy my daughter a car, knowing you've got a soft spot in your heart for daughters, right?
Yes. That was the first $500 I sent him.
Right. And he later confessed he doesn't even have a daughter.
Yes, he did.
Well, I did some research, and when we come back, I'm going to tell you what we found out.
I've had this set up ever since I didn't meet him. I bought him a San Francisco 49ers coffee mug. He said we were going to get married, and I bought these little glasses. They say the final fling before the bling. And I still have his Valentine's card that I bought and filled out and never got to send to him because he won't give me his address. That's his shirt that I bought him for Christmas. I do a lot of crafting, so I made that flower arrangement for Craig's mother. I didn't get to give it to her. It feels good because I haven't been with a man in a lot of years, and he makes me feel special. Craig always treats me good, always says nice things to me. Craig really won my heart over, and I'm still getting in love with Craig.
You just said in your tape piece, he's always so sweet and kind and tells me what I really need to hear.
Yes.
He's sweet and kind when you're paying him money.
That's it, I guess.
But when you don't, he threatens you, rejects you, breaks up with you. So you're paying him to tell you nice things. Isn't that the truth of it?
I think it is.
It's like you're paying a service to tell you what you want to hear.
Never thought of it like that.
But isn't that how it's working out? Isn't that how it's working out?
Yes.
Exactly how it's working out. She's living in a fantasy world.
He threatens, he ignores, he gets depressed and just needs rest. He pouts, he says, "You don't trust me."
Yeah.
He says he just doesn't need the stress you're putting on him. He guilt induces you. So who is he? I did some checking. I checked in Manor, Texas. This person with this date of birth doesn't live in Manor, Texas, never lived in Manor, Texas. Also checked Addison. Doesn't anybody live there, that birth date, Manor, Texas? So I went beyond Manor, went beyond Addison, and scanned the entire United States of America to see if anybody existed with that name and birth date in the entire United States of America. Doesn't exist. I thought, well, let's check his phone number. And he gave you a phone number. This phone number is an anonymous phone number that is tied to an app that is commonly used in scams. He told you he had an attorney that was handling this Krista woman. We have her last name, I won't say it here. Mm-hmm. So I thought, well, I'll check. This is supposed to be in Florida, right? Mm-hmm. Check Florida Bar Association, doesn't exist. Checked American Bar Association, doesn't exist. But then you know that because he eventually told you that was a lie. Mm-hmm. So he doesn't exist in Manor or Addison or in the United States of America, nor does his phone, nor does this attorney. This is all made up. Why do you think you would fall for that?
Guess I'm just a lonely person.
They do it to women and men who have suffered loss and tragedy in their lives. And so they're vulnerable. They're emotionally compromised and they go, oh, I found someone here with a broken wing and I'm going to pretend to fix it. And because they know you have a good heart, and because they know that your mind doesn't run to dark places, they can sneak up on you to the point that you sell the couch that you sit on when you're tired.
I had to tell you that, sister.
This is your Craig, right? Well, we found the man in these pictures. And he is anxious to talk to Fran, and we're going to meet him next. I wanted to find out, who this person was. I mean, this is a real picture. So we were able to find the man in the Craig photos. And he's going to join us now virtually. So thank you for joining us. Anthony, are you there?
Yeah, hi, Dr. Phil.
How are you, Anthony? First off, let me tell you how much I appreciate you taking time out of your day, your life, and your willingness to come on here and help. And I'm so sorry that you've had identity theft visited upon you. So let me be very clear. You're seeing Craig here. This is your Craig, right?
Yes, it is.
And let me tell you, this man is a victim just like you. He has absolutely nothing to do with this whatsoever. So anybody walking by your TV looking at this, Craig, this man is innocent. This is Anthony. He has nothing to do with this whatsoever, other than he had his identity stolen because he's obviously a very attractive guy. And so they ripped his picture off and used it to get to you. Anthony, what did you want to say to Fran?
Well, how are you doing, Fran?
Doing okay.
I am the man in the photos, but I have not been speaking with you at all.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry it happened to you as well.
Thank you.
And Anthony, what did you think when you found out that your pictures had been ripped off and used in this way?
I was shocked initially. And then I started thinking it's really scary that someone would be taking your photos and pretending to be you.
And, he says it breaks his heart for you that someone the same age as his mom is being scammed. And how old are you, Anthony?
I'm 38.
He's 38. And Craig told you he was...
Well, he said he was born in 64, and then he said his birthday is today. And he told me last night he was 65.
Yeah.
So he changed his age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does he look 65 to you?
No.
Well, he doesn't look 65
No.
to you. Anthony says he even thought he was being scammed when the producers, my producers called from the show to contact you, right, Anthony?
Yeah, I did. I thought it was a scam at first.
Yeah. Yeah, we had to do a FaceTime tour of the Paramount lot here, which is good, Anthony, that you said you need to show me, walk me around Paramount lot, show me the Dr. Phil studios, because it could be, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So I was shocked.
Yeah. What does this tell you now? Do you have any doubts whatsoever?
It tells me I'm deleting everything and moving on with my life the best I can.
Yeah. Anthony, thank you so much for being willing to do this and helping her out. It means an awful lot to us. And if we can do anything for you, let us know. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So next, why is it that Fran and other vulnerable people overlook so many warning signs, red flags in relationships? I'm going to tell you my thoughts when we come back. Every year, romance scams take more and more money from those who fall victim. But there are things that you can do without having the resources that we have here. So pay attention, because what I'm getting ready to show you could save you or somebody you love from possible heartbreak and financial ruin. Take a look.
Here at Dr. Phil, a lot of people fall victim to love scams. The first red flag that we like to look at is the exchange of money. So when Fran told me about a man named Craig that she had never met in person, I had a lot of questions about him. What we did know is that he had asked Fran to send money to his alleged lawyer named Krista, who lived in Florida. We found that there was no Krista in Florida or in the United States practicing as a lawyer. After After we realized a lot weren't adding up, we went looking at all the photos that he had sent Fran for clues. I learned he was possibly a football coach, he was allegedly from Texas, had a Florida tattoo on his arm, and he had a son. After searching to see if he was possibly a football coach, I came to a dead end. Looking at a couple other photos, I noticed that he was wearing another shirt with a logo on it. It said healthy, wealthy lifestyle, and I did a quick Google search. It led me to the brand's Instagram account, so I looked at all 1,500 of their followers. Eventually, I came across an account that had a photo of a man who looked exactly like Craig. The account that I found was under the name of Anthony. I was able to connect with Anthony, and he was able to confirm that, yes, those were his photos. He is absolutely, without a doubt, not Craig. All of these things anyone can do from home with the access to the internet, Google, social media platforms. People can start researching any red flag that they find, and if they sense that something's off, start digging.
Andrea's one of our producers, and what are some other things people can do at home without all of our cyber detectives and everything?
All right, so one of the first things that I always do that I think anybody has very simple access to is collecting any photos that you have from the person that you think you're talking to or your loved one is. And there's reverse image searching engines that are free. So you just save them to your desktop, you plug them right into your search bar, and you can do that. There's a platform on Google, and then there's another platform as well that if you just type in reverse image search, sometimes you can get a hit, you can get a match, it'll find the same digital footprint. And
then you say look at social media profiles, check followers, who they are, where they're from, because that can tell you if the person that's being used, their identity is being used, you can find out where they actually populate, where they live. You can zero in.
Yeah. And so something that I noticed on Craig's profile, so I was able to still look, it was active, but there was no post, which one, that's a little suspicious, 0 posts. And the other thing was that I think there were 13 followers that he had, and one of them was you, and the others were different men. And from what I was able to see within those profiles is that they were not from America.
Then you start to see, this isn't a real person, this is a made-up account. What we're saying, guys, is if you have doubts about this, without all of these extra resources, you can do some stuff. You just start looking backwards. Thank you so much.
Yes, of course.
We will have listed some of these tips and tricks you can do to track things down on drphil.com and on our Facebook page. So the question now is Fran ready to move on from Craig for good? And how does she move forward? We'll be right back. I guess the bottom line question is, have I convinced you beyond any shadow of a doubt that this individual does not exist?
Yes, you have.
100%.
100%.
Because what I'm going to ask you to do is unplug. You've got to disconnect, cancel out the account, and know that you do have some open wounds inside that you have to deal with. And you do have to deal with those things, and I'm happy to help you with that, but you've got to unplug from this and give yourself some time to adjust. And y'all need to stay close to her during this time and make sure that she knows and feels that support.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I appreciate what you've done from the bottom of my heart.
And Fran, to at least get things going back in the right direction, we here at Dr. Phil want to set you up with putting your living room back together with some couch and chairs and lamps and tables. So let us replace your living room for you so you at least have a place to sit down and think about your future. I want to thank all of my guests today. For more information about today's show, go to drphil.com. If you'd like to be in our audience, know that we do have our studio audience back this year. So please know that you can come. We follow all the CDC guidelines. Everybody here is vaccinated. They do wear masks, so we really put safety first. You know where to find me on all the different social media platforms where the show kind of lives on after the fact. We talk about a lot of different things. We have a special Facebook group called Dr. Phil Fanatics. That's PHAN. It's a private group for superfans where you get latest Dr. Phil news first. And I pop in there from time to time. We even did a Dr. Phil Fanatics show just the other day. And Robin and I both have podcasts. Mine's Fill in the Blanks, and hers is I've Got a Secret. We'd love to spend time with you there as well. We'll see you next time. So long.